Hi there, thanks for joining in. This is Shauna from SBell Wellness, and I'm excited to share some doTERRA natural solutions for energy and focus. So we'll start out talking about energy. So, lack of energy really is just a normal response to not getting enough sleep, overexerting ourselves, overworking, stress, even lack of exercise or not moving our bodies enough, or even just being bored with some things that are going on or not going on for us. And then, sometimes lack of energy can then be persistent. And maybe if it doesn't resolve with some self-care type of things, then maybe there is something more going on. Like allergies and asthma can lead to that, chronic pain type of things, depression and grief, even sleep disorders, thyroid problems, side effects from medication. And so those are all things that, of course, if those things are persisting, they want to look at it from, not that you can't look at it from an integrative perspective, but that you want to definitely, speak with the physician and talk about those things. But now we're going to talk about like some self-care routine type of things that we can do when we're just dealing with lack of energy from some of those first things I mentioned. And so let's talk about some oils and some supplements, and then we'll talk a little bit about a couple extra things tonight as well. So top oils for energy. So basil actually is a really good oil as far as having some really nice alerting properties. If the lack of energy is coming from like true exhaustion, it can be super helpful. And it's also very helpful for like any sort of energy weakness you might have, like even after being sick. And so that's a good one to diffuse. I will say I have read that it actually will have the opposite effect if you use too much of it. So just a little bit of it if you're looking to get that energy from it. And then also citrus oils. So citrus oils are just amazing for energy. They're so uplifting and rejuvenating. I have some of my favorites for sure. Lemongrass is a favorite of mine. I think part of that is because some of my lack of energy was persistent and was due to some thyroid problems. And so I've gained a lot of healing from that, but I really respond well to lemongrass for energy for me. Citrus Bliss is also one of my favorites. So that's the invigorating blend. Just to share a little bit about what's in there, we've got wild orange and lemon, grapefruit, mandarin orange, bergamot, tangerine, clementine, and some vanilla. When we put the vanilla in there with citrus, I really think that's what kind of gives it that nice sweet citrus smell. And so I really enjoy Citrus Bliss with spearmint. So I'll talk about mints in a little bit too, but that's definitely one of my favorite combos, especially in the afternoon. Spearmint has more of the it's uplifting, but also like relieving. And so I feel like after like a busy morning, combining these two in the diffuser or even in a roller bottle together are really great. So that's Citrus Bliss and spearmint. I also love Elevation. So Elevation, just to share what's in there, lavender, tangerine, lavender, amorous, clary sage, Hawaiian sandalwood, ylang ylang, hoewood, osmanthus, lemon myrtle, and melissa. So we heard a few tree oils in there, which I definitely feel are very supportive for that grounding effect that sometimes we kind of need more from a focus perspective, but Elevation is also called the Joyful Blend, and I definitely really enjoy the aromatics of that one, even just in the diffuser by itself. And then Passion. So Passion is one of my favorites to use in the touch roller. So this is the touch roller that doTERRA puts together for us. It already is pre-diluted, so you can just roll that right on. And so Passion is an inspiring blend. It has cardamom and cinnamon, clove, sandalwood, jasmine, and vanilla. some of those are just really my favorite single oils too. So not a surprise that the passion's there, but that really helps us, get that energy and that motivation that we need. If some of the lack of energy is coming from just not being motivated, or really wanting to kind of bring out the energy that you need to be motivated for projects and things that you're working on. I already talked a little bit about spearmint. Mints can be very invigorating, so those are helpful for that energy boost. Of course, peppermint's probably the number one, quick, invigorating oil. I actually have this one. It says energy on the top, and has wild orange and peppermint in there together. You can see it's like down here, almost done with this ruler, because I do use this one often for that quick pick-me-up. And so what are some ways to kind of use these oils? I talked about diffusing them, but also just rubbing those energy oils on some tired muscles. So you might want to dilute them, but rubbing them into your neck, your shoulders, your back, your legs, it really helps that blood flow and really getting oxygen to those muscles. So that's a really great way to actually physiologically help the body get that energy boost that we're looking for. So that's a great way to do that. Do be careful with citrus oils, however. If you are going to be out in the sun, most of them are photosensitive, so you want to make sure that you're putting them in places that won't be sun exposed if you're going to be out there, because you may get like a sunburn type of reaction to those oils. So you just kind of have to know your skin and be mindful of that with the citrus oils. A couple other things that I think are really great that doTERRA provides for us for energy are the supplements. So you guys know that I really have found a lot of success with those personally, and so I do like to share those with you guys. The Lifelong Vitality is just a really important 3-pack that really helps us just balance with nutritional deficiencies that may or may not be going on, even if we're eating well. Just food, the soil that the food is growing in is so depleted of nutrients, and so it's just a really great way to make sure we're getting those. Lots of different antioxidants in there and different omegas in there to really make sure that we are supporting that cellular level energy. So that's definitely something that I think is important to get into habit. And then Mito to Max is actually an energy complex. And so that one is really supporting at a cellular level. There's lots of different ingredients in there as far as really being supportive. Some of my favorites in there, ashwagandha is actually an herb that is really phenomenal for helping support lowering our cortisol levels. And so that's really going to help with that mental and stress response that we're having, which can really impact our energy levels or deplete them. And so I think that one's super helpful, and I really like that it's in here. There's some other ingredients in here that are super helpful for increasing circulation, which I talked a little bit about, like massaging the oils in, really being able to get that blood flow throughout the body is also boosting our energy. And then, of course, the antioxidants that are in here are definitely going to have that positive impact on energy, and just overall, like really helping us adapt to stress. There's ginseng in here. If you have ever looked into that a little bit, there's lots of different like energy drinks and things like that have ginseng in there. And you just have to be careful with ginseng as far as the dosing of it. And so that's what I love about doTERRA is they do a lot of research and really dig in and make sure that the dosing we're getting is the appropriate dose. So that's why I really like this one as well. So there's a few other things in there, but this one is definitely supporting that energy and stamina. And so I really like to take this one kind of midday to have that afternoon, because that's when I kind of deal with the less energy. But if it's something that you deal with in the morning, then it's certainly a good time to take that as well. And so with the supplements, I just say, I think the important thing is just getting into habit. It's starting slow, just making sure you're dose diligent and really spending time kind of figuring out when that makes most sense in your day. I always like to tie them to something that you're already doing so that it doesn't feel like one more thing that you have to remember, but that you're just able to take them. So I think that those are super important to really think about when we're thinking energy, because we are able to support at a cellular level to get that energy that we need. So it's not just like you're covering up a symptom, but you actually are supporting the body overall. All right, so that was about energy. I do want to talk about focus a little bit. And, you know, it's really about thinking over the noise that's going on in our minds for all the things that we have going on. Even if we don't have, you know, some sort of attentional diagnosis going on, I think we all probably deal with just really tuning in to the things that we need to with so many different things going on in our lives. So just inhaling essential oils actually has such a powerful impact for focus. It really, you know, the olfactory bulb is just activated so quickly, directly linking to the brain and really helping the brain with a process that really kind of gets those quick neural connections so that our brain is ready to focus. So just simple diffusion of some oils that are helpful, or even just inhaling it from the bottle, can be helpful and have that immediate effect and really impact focus. So a couple oils for that would be Roman chamomile. So Roman chamomile is actually a really great oil to help decrease anxious feelings. So oftentimes anxious feelings can be really what's underlying some of that inability to really tune in and focus on the relevant. So being able to address those anxious feelings with the oils, if that's where you know your lack of focus is coming from, Roman chamomile is great for that. Lavender is another one that really helps with mental adaptability. And so it's really going to help support, you know, a lot of people know it for the anxious feeling or for rest, but really what it's doing is really helping your body to adapt to where it needs to be in that moment. Vetiver is another really great one. I find it to be a very grounding oil. Really helps to promote focus and concentration. So if you know that, you know, your mind is kind of rushing in, there's lots of different thoughts, some of those grounding oils are very helpful if that's where you notice focus issues. Let's see, cedarwood. So cedarwood is a great brain oil, absolutely. Calms the mind, it really helps to boost mental performance. So, you know, sometimes we talk about that one for rest too. And I think the reason for that is really just the chemical composition is really helping the brain be able to settle. So if you're dealing with focus issues, you want the brain to be able to settle and focus into. Clary sage is the next one that I have here in my notes about focus. And so that one is just really calming. It really helps to kind of clear our focus. So if you feel like, you know, too many different things are coming in and you want to just kind of be able to settle that, clary sage is good. And then there's a few blends too that have a lot of these oils actually in them. So serenity for sure, Roman chamomile, lavender, vetiver, cedarwood are all in serenity. So serenity is a great oil that I enjoy actually in my sleep routine. But we all know that we need good sleep in order to focus. And so that's probably why it's really supporting that. In Tune is actually our doTERRA Focus Blend. And so this one comes in that pre-diluted roller bottle, great for putting right on, you know, pulse points behind the ears, over the heart, to really support focus. Just to give you an idea of what's in there as far as aromatics would go, sandalwood, patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang-ylang, and Roman chamomile are all in Tune. And then Motivate's a great one for just really helping to motivate thinking. So sometimes we're not focused because we're not motivated by what we're tuned into. And so Motivate Blend is a great one for that. And then of course I couldn't go without a single class, I think, mentioning Balance, because that's my favorite oil. But it really is great for focus. It's such a grounding oil. And so if you just got a lot going on, The balance is a great one to use at any time in your day. All right, so those are the ones that I wanted to share for focus. In the beginning, I mentioned how there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. So, with doTERRA and some of the other things that I do, that I think there's some other important things that we need to talk about when we talk about energy and focus that are really important to our self-care. So movement is definitely super important for that. And it means different things for different people. And so you have to know what your type of exercise or your type of movement is. What I do encourage is that even if it's like 20 minutes a day, that you absolutely dedicate to it and just make it non-negotiable. That's just what you do, whether it's in the beginning of your day or end of your day or both, you're breaking them up wherever you see that you can fit it. But don't wait to fit it. So make it non-negotiable and make it part of your plan so that you are able to move your body, which is really going to help that circulation. It's really going to help with sleep patterns. And so those are all important for focus and energy. And then sleep. So absolutely, sleep is important for focus and energy. It is recommended that adults get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I think that's hard. It's hard for a lot of us, but I think if we can make a point to really try to have that as a goal, I think that we're all going to find that we are performing, focusing, and having the energy we need if we're getting that. Some people are dealing with not being able to stay asleep. And something that I have found recently to really help with that is magnesium. I actually get the magnesium from our bone nutrient. So I take doTERRA bone nutrient every night before I go to sleep. And I have found that one is definitely helping me stay asleep. So my oils definitely help me fall asleep quickly. And then the bone nutrient, the magnesium in there is really supporting the body's ability to stay asleep. And then about sleep, the one thing that, I think we can all do better with, myself included, absolutely, decreasing screen time before bed. 1 to 2 hours before bed is what is recommended. And so I think that's a goal. I try to fit that into my mindset when I can. And so I definitely think that's an important thing for us to all be thinking about. We definitely spend more time on screens now than we ever have. So it's important to think about that. And then also for mindset. So mindset is just so important. And I think just like exercise being non-negotiable, making sure we build in our sleep, I think building in mindset type of activities is really important for our brain health, our overall health, which is really going to impact our energy and focus. And so things like, journaling or reading things on topics of like self-development sort of things, even podcasts, meditating or guided relaxation type of things, just really taking time to breathe on purpose. And again, even if it's just like, 10 or 20 minutes a day that you've absolutely dedicated to it, you're going to see a huge difference in your energy, your motivation. All of those things are really going to help when you're just really allowing yourself that time. So I didn't want to leave without talking about that. I currently am participating in a challenge, actually, where some of the people on my doTERRA team, we are dedicated to doing that 2020 challenge. And so we're doing 20 minutes a day of movement and 20 minutes a day of mindset. So if anybody wants to join in on that, let me know. And I certainly would love to support you in helping you feel that you can do that. All right, so that was kind of everything I wanted to share on the topic of focus and energy. If you haven't gotten started with doTERRA and that's something that you want to explore a little bit, please feel free to reach out to me. If you jump on over to sbellwellness.com, you can grab all my contact information there. Send me a text or an email. I'd love to help you get started on that, whether it be for focus and energy or other things you have going on. I'm happy to help. And then before I go, if you're watching this before next week, May 20th, I actually have an online event going on all next week for anybody who hasn't gotten started with doTERRA yet. I will be hosting this private event where you can jump in and watch some videos and just read through some quick posts and things to learn more about doTERRA, to learn more about some of the products that might be helpful for you, how to easily get started with those kind of things. So I'd love to have you join in with that. So definitely message me if that's something you want to do as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you all at the next class. Thank you.